guys, Dr. Dave Nichol here. This is Freewheeling, the show that answers your questions and sometimes just my random musings where I think they might offer some value. Today we're going down the random musings route, but it's not random. It's something I think important going on, and I think there's, you guys have heard me speak before about social media and the dangers of us constantly posting how wonderful our so-called lives are, and the impact, the expectation that sets for everybody around us in terms of how their life should look and why their life should be so amazing, and setting us up with that absolutely unattainable version of reality, because nobody's life looks like that all of the time. And so I wanted to be mindful to post some things just that were real, that were authentic, and sometimes that means being a bit vulnerable as well. And so I wanted to share with you my journey, literally journey, over the last few weeks. I've been very, very busy. September and October were always going to be very challenging months for me because there's so much work just scheduled to do there, which meant traveling. So as you know, I'm working on a project in India to build training programs for the next, indeed the first generation of young vets who want to work in modern practices. And I do a lot of speaking, I go on the road a lot, and a lot of the bigger events that I have had to attend all happened from the end of August, early September, and then on into this month or the end of September. And what that meant was I was time zone hopping a lot. Okay, so which sounds very glamorous, but actually it isn't after a while. It's very punishing. So I was across in the US for one event speaking, back to the UK, and then a couple of weeks later back on a plane to another event speaking, and going on the road and touring in different hotels every night. And you're almost always in a state of jet lag when you're doing that, so you're not sleeping great. I don't eat brilliantly whilst I'm on the road simply because I'm away from home, and because I'm vegan, that's just a little bit harder. So I don't eat great. Inevitably, it means you're around people and you're occasionally, you're having more beer than you would, because when I'm at home, I don't drink during the week, or I try not to. And so you're doing all of the things that normally I would say you shouldn't do. So, I'm not sleeping well, I'm not eating brilliantly, and I'm consuming more alcohol than I should. So then I get back on a plane to the UK, working hard for a project launch, a big, stressful, never been done before kind of almost Mission Impossible project. That's happening, so I go out to India. So now I'm going the other way in the time zone. I'm there for a week. I literally come home for a day after India and get back on a plane and go back to the US for Andy Rourke's Uncharted Get Shit Done conference, followed by a new graduate event in Nashville. And that really brought me to a point where I got back to the UK after that. I'd effectively done 4 time zone hops within the space of about 2 weeks. And I was just exhausted. Now, there's that, and then you've got the mental burden of running a business, and then the mental burden of all the life stuff that's going on in the background. And for the first time in my life, I found myself in a place I've never been before, and I was a little confused at the first. First I thought, it happened like this. On the Thursday I got back in the morning, and I was going to take the day relatively easy. I had a little bit of work to do, so I did that. And I felt pretty crappy like I usually do after I get off a plane. And that usually goes after a couple of days. On Friday, I felt kind of crummy, but again, was putting that down to jet lag. Then on Saturday, it's my daughter's 6th birthday, and I'm at the party, and I've just got this headache, and I don't feel great. On Sunday, I feel literally, I'm starting to feel like death warmed up, and I've just, this headache will not go away. Same thing comes Monday, and then finally, and all of this time I'm actually starting to get in my head and think, what's wrong with you? Like, are you going crazy? Like, what's happening? And in actual fact, I just reached a point during the weekend, I thought, you're just exhausted. Like, this is what exhaustion feels like. And I don't just mean physical exhaustion, I meant mental, emotional. This is burnout. This is absolutely what burnout looks like. And I'd managed, ironically, speaking about burnout and doing everything I do to help others avoid burnout, I recognize that that is exactly where I was. And so that was a moment. And so I also, that in itself is interesting. But I just wanted to share, that was a week, no, not even a week, just sort of half of a week ago. We're now a week since I got back from the US. And in actual fact, I feel fine now. I feel a lot better. But I wanted to share the journey of recognizing where I was, because I think that's something I've been able to do very well through my career, is to recognize what's happening or going on in my body and then take corrective action so I could keep going. Because we all reach burnout, we all reach that moment, right? We reach the moment of tiredness and we can go past it. And some of us are actually quite effective at operating in that zone. I'm one of those people. You almost exist on adrenaline sometimes, and you work best on deadlines. And I know a lot of you are like that as well, especially if you're high achievers. You know who you are. And it's a lot of you who follow my content. So what I effectively did, and I found myself doing, was trying to book other work, and I was looking at my schedule, and it wasn't making sense. It was just making my head hurt, and I really felt like I was stuck in the mud. And so what I realized I had to do was just reset. Then I'm actually still in the process of that. Like if I go back and I start working super hard now, I could be in trouble for sure. But so what I've actually got going on is I just down tools and said, look, there's a minimum I need to do to get going here. I'm going to do that. Over the weekend, I cut out, I know that if I sleep, I drink and eat well, and I stay away from any of the crutches that we all maybe have to lean on from time to time, and in this instance, alcohol, that things would likely improve if I just gave them time. And for me, I like the triple M. This is what I talk about. When you're feeling like you're dealing with big emotions or you're not in a great place, triple M technique works great. So what's a triple M? Mindfulness. So get your meditation on, okay? Get your app out. For me, I use Buddhify. I love that app. Thank you, Rohan. Get out and feel, basically, it's like minimization. It's feeling small in the world, and just being close to nature. Okay, and I live right by the ocean, and right behind my house there's this lovely little nature walk that you can go on. So I just disconnected, and that's what I did, disconnected, and I went for a walk through the nature walk. There's this lovely view, and I just took in the serenity of the view. And I thought that was something nice to do. And then movement for me is important as well. And because I injured my ankle 4 months ago, I wasn't able to train as much. So I got my butt to the gym and got in an elliptical, which I hate, but I hate ellipticals. Not because they're hard, just I don't like them because they're not running, and I like running. But I had to get on the elliptical, and I moved some weights, did some training, and I got on the elliptical and did some running, sort of running, that weird running you do on that, and just got a bit sweaty. And by doing that movement, by having that mindfulness, and by having that minimization, by really making yourself feel small in nature, it put my issues in perspective of the grand scheme of thing. It helped me feel grounded, helped me disconnect from the craziness that happens in our phones that you're watching this on just now. These things don't always help us out. They can be great, and they can be a real curse. So we've got to be careful of that. So it was about good nutrition. It was about lots of water intake, rest. I slept like I've been sleeping like I haven't slept at all, just catching up, recharging, doing my triple M, and then I've also booked myself some vacation. And so my dad's coming down. In fact, in about an hour, I'm going to go meet him at the station, which will be fab. And then we're going to spend some time just as a family, and I'm going to not do any work. And when he leaves again after the weekend, then I know my batteries are going to be recharged and I'm going to feel better. So the important parts in the process are being aware that you're not right, you're not in a good spot, and then making a practical plan of things that you can do. And so for me, it was part nutrition, it was rest, it was getting my mindfulness on, it was unplugging and connecting with nature, and then taking some break. And folks, in America, this is my plea to you, 2 weeks of holiday, 2 weeks of vacation time, that's not even humane. Like as a veterinarian, I needed my break every 3 months. Otherwise, I would start going crazy. And so I honestly, for you guys in America, maybe we should start a campaign. And maybe it's not for me, maybe I shouldn't meddle, but actually it doesn't matter if you're American, you're human. And our minds and our brains kind of work the same. I don't believe you can operate at a high level doing a high power, high stress job on 2 weeks holiday a year, okay? And I really don't care who I piss off saying that. If you're an employer and you're giving your teams 2 weeks holiday every year, shame on you. And shame on you twice, right? Shame on you for treating people like that, but shame on you for thinking that that's good for your business either. Because people who are working in a burned out state, their performance will suck. You're shooting yourself in the foot twice. So I think there's a lot to be said for upping that, getting 4 weeks holiday a year, a week off every 3 months of hard graft. I challenge you guys to tell me you're not making better money as business owners. And I challenge you as professionals that you're not working at a higher level if you do that. It's important to recognize burnout in the early stages. That was definitely what was happening to me. I was getting run down, and in a little break, my batteries are recharged. I'm going to take a few more days, and then I am going to be hard at it on the content, on the writing, on the projects, and back in good flow again. So there you go. That's today's little video post on freewheeling. What do you think? What do you do to recharge yourself? How do you recognize when you're running in the red? Do you recognize it? Are you willing to admit it, or are you too proud to admit it? Because we can all go there, and it's not weakness, it's just normal. Yeah, we get tired. So it is 100% okay to take the time when you need the time. In fact, you have to do it. If you do that, your mental health, your physical health, your quality of your work, your productivity, everything's going to be a lot better. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you to everyone I've met out on the road in the last 2 months. It has been hard, but it really has been wonderful seeing you all, and I'm so grateful to have met so many wonderful people in this profession. So you be safe, be well, be happy, and I will continue to be safe, well, and happy, and looking after myself as well. Peace out, boys and girls. You take care.